Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Brain Trust. This is episode 83, Space and Technology. I'm here with my co-facilitator, Lino.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. So, we'll get first started with the first article. If you want to follow along, it should be in the description below the video. So, first video, first article, first point on the docket is China's first self-driving electric tractor unveiled. Um, this is from CGTN. Oh, actually, this is from New China TV. Sorry. Let's play the video real quick. Now, Lionel, have you had the opportunity to look at this video?
Yes, I did. My first thought is it's cute. Um, they really don't go more in depth of how it works, the capabilities it has, but knowing that it's a farming tractor, you can really think of all the capabilities it has. As far as the size, I didn't see the size of it either. Any dimensions, did you?
There were no dimensions on it, but it's much smaller than your typical tractor, obviously because it doesn't have a driver's seat and steering wheel and steering mechanism in place, but it's mostly batteries. And looking at the video, it looks like it charges itself um, by going to a pod,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems to have some kind of artificial intelligence, satellite communication with it to determine the area that it's going to form its agricultural work.
Mm-hmm. It seems it's. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
On the surface, it seems like it's more efficient than the John Deere's, the Caterpillars, farming equipment out there. More efficient, do the job even better. Only do what it's told to do. No more, nothing more, nothing less. There are certain industries where robotics would be better off, such as farming. Not too many people are farming now. So now you have to farm more food, and there's not a lot of people that are readily going in those industries. So having robotics is good for farmers when they don't have enough hands on deck and they have to farm more food. So that situation will be a win-win situation. But yeah, on the surface, it seems like it would be a good application.
Yeah, I could. I just want to pause it here. This part of the video shows that it's in a field, but it's actually it doesn't determine what kind of field it is, but the little picture right here where my cursor is shows that it's analyzing the plant,
Hmm.
and this is from the intelligence feed that it's given back, and it seems to be if you look at the emojis at the bottom of it, it seems to be determining through emojis what the condition of the plant is, whether or not it's bad, it's poison ivy, 7 day itch, or whatever you want to call it, poison oak, or whether or not it's a legitimate edible plant. Based on the emoji, it seems that that plant may not be suitable for use of eating, which I find to be very interesting. That's a lot of technology being put into such a small little device, especially a tractor, because there's so many other plants that are surrounding in that field, right? So you may have a weed versus um, a stalk of corn, something to that effect, right? So I think that's what it's looking at.
Hmm. That's interesting. I think that's great because it shows that it can do more than one thing, more than a few things. That it's multifunctional and it really helps the farmers in a multiple number of ways. By
Mhm.
imagine, well, in this section of the field, I really want turnips to grow here, and over here I want rutabaga, and over here I want sweet potato, and it's going in the field, doing what it's supposed to do, and it detects uh, other vegetables growing over here that can really harm the rutabaga, or that can really harm the sweet potatoes. So it's really efficient,
Right.
cute, and cool.
And it looks like it can pick the plant as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't want to say it could or not, but that would be. I don't, it looks like it. Maybe they'll design something else that that can go on the back of it, and if it
Yes.
does
If
take it.
let me pull this video back a little bit. If you look at, let me pause it at the right here. So that's an attachment for some kind of auger or some other type of arm set up to the
Hmm.
tractor itself.
Yeah. So maybe you hook something on the back of it, and it picks it, and it just
Right.
puts it in the thing.
Hmm. If you're looking at this image shot here, it actually gives good GPS coordinates as well as because if you look at the top screen right here, that's a GPS coordinate. Um, that's also a measurement right here. I believe that's a distance.
Hmm.
Um, this graphs right here, maybe it's telling um, what the velocity of wind is and temperature as well.
It's taking in a lot of information, a lot of useful information.
Right, and it seems to be that it seems to me that the tractor is feeding this information back to another system, and then the system is processing it on its own.
Yeah, that's useful because now you have a complete knowledge of your field, but all of these machines, uh, I can imagine these machines connected to a like an IoT network or slash blockchain network that they're working together. So they're farming the field, and they say, well, this area of acre is dry, and so it can really. I keep saying efficient, but that's the word that describes this. Yeah, I see the attachment right there. Yeah.
Right, and keep in mind that because it is autonomous and it does connect to a network, it does make it an IoT device.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's IoT by default. But China has a lot of desert, a lot of undeveloped land that they're trying to use for growing crops. So I guess this tractor kind of makes it that much easier. And we looked at a video. I want to say back in the summertime, maybe back in August, um, right here on the Brain Trust, where the workforce is actually suffering in China. So a lot of your millennials don't want to go into agriculture or go into
Hmm.
factory jobs, anything like that anymore. So there's a shortage of farmers and other blue collar labor jobs because millennials just don't. Chinese millennials just don't want it, right? They want to get in the corporate office. They want to be a part of that white collar sector. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Their culture towards when you're looking toward uh admirable work is becoming Americanized.
mhm.
That thought, yeah. But yeah, if I own a phone, I would definitely purchase this because not only you purchase that, but you purchase everything that goes with it, such as those two computers right there. and you get a plethora of information that can help your your farming capabilities streamline.
Hmm.
So the say let's say farmers have an acceptable number an acceptable percentage of crop that they know they're going to lose each year. That declines, which means more money, more profit, and expansion. Yeah, yeah. This is good.
Move on to move on to the next article. I can imagine them using that on something like Mars or Titan or any one of these other exoplanets.
Yeah, yeah. Terraforming it, digging up stuff. Uh, yeah. An army of robots exploring the planet, communicating with each other.
Hmm.
Hey man, did you look over here? Yeah, yeah, I did it yesterday.
Feel like that scene from Spaceballs when they were combing the desert.
With the Afro fit.
Yeah. Yeah. So you find anything? Nah, we ain't find anything. You
Yeah,
find anything? We ain't found shit.
oh yeah, you gonna make me go and look at that movie again.
It's a classic. So the next article is from Ars Technica. Um, Ford's plan for driverless cars goes beyond technology. Ford is way behind Waymo on driverless cars, but so are most car makers. Um, my thoughts on this is that it looks like Ford um, is playing catch up, but it seems to me that they've redelegated the work to um, another company called Argo.
Yeah,
If I'm
Argo.
pronouncing it right. Yes, Argo. So they put $1 billion behind Argo to design the driverless stack for their cars. So what it seems to me is that Ford is just waiting patiently. It, it's nothing big. Waymo doesn't have to manufacture cars; they just have to manufacture the technology. Whereas Ford has to manufacture the car and do the technology behind it and go through um, other financial risk.
Yeah.
In other areas. So Waymo's ahead because Waymo has less to do. Focus on
Hmm.
the driverless stack, and that's all they need to do. So,
And like the article
but
said,
it looks.
go ahead.
But it's give me 10 seconds. What it looks to me is that Ford is investing into taxis and logistical deliveries. So, I think they had a car 6 months ago with Domino's Pizza, where Domino's and Ford worked on a driverless vehicle that delivered pizza from the passenger side window.
Hmm.
So, go
Yeah,
ahead.
like the article said, everybody's behind Waymo, but like you said, Waymo doesn't have to do both ends of the coin. They don't have to both design the technology and the car. We mentioned in a song, yeah, this past summer how they purchased 62,000 um, Pacificas. So, like the article said, everybody's behind Waymo in terms of the technology, but at the same time, Ford is in the middle of the pack when it comes to auto manufacturers trying to get their product on the street. They're they are right on time to year 2020 slash really 2020 2021 release of their vehicles. And like you mentioned in the article said, it seems like everyone is trying to get into the taxi service of autonomous vehicles, which really is logical. Um, That seems like the logical point of entry, which means Ubers are going to do it, which means a lot less Uber people are going to be on the street driving. Um, 2 weeks ago, we discussed how GM did the same thing, where they designated crews to do all the technical things, and how they were going to have a vehicle solely dedicated to taxi driving in the next couple of years. So now we're hearing Ford basically doing the same thing GM is doing, and Ford is going to have their vehicles in DC, Miami, and a few other cities. I haven't heard of Chicago. That would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. What you're seeing now is just everybody. This is just the first initial phase, right? So Tesla kind of set it off with the autonomous autopilot feature on their vehicles, and then Waymo picked up after Tesla, and now you have Ford picking up steam, GM picking up steam. Volkswagen displayed something I think maybe a month or so ago, if I remember correctly. Volvo has been heavily invested with Waymo on
Hmm.
autonomous vehicle development. So it, we got to give we got to give the market time. Like we're at right now with autonomous vehicles, in reference to where Netscape was back in the mid '90s. At one point, you had Netscape and Internet Explorer kind of duking it out for who has the best, fastest browser, and for a long time it was Netscape. But now,
Hmm.
right? So similar, you had Microsoft and what do you call that? Internet Explorer. Microsoft had to worry about the operating system and the browser, whereas Netscape only had to worry about the browser itself.
Yeah.
They didn't have to write the code for the operating system. They didn't have to do anything, so they can accelerate a lot faster and get ahead. But we saw how that played out. Netscape. 10 years later, Netscape, bombed out, and Internet Explorer remained the leader.
Yeah. But autonomous, the talk of autonomous vehicle and even the design of autonomous vehicles has been around since early this century. But we're seeing it jump, the technology, the sophistication of the technology jump more and more as the years go. And all of a sudden you're gonna look up and see, hey, it's here. But they've been working on this for at least 2 decades, since the beginning of the year, not this year, this century. And it's getting better. And if you go on, whoever's listening to this, go on YouTube and look up Waymo. These are not some slow lane cars driving a few miles per hour. They are doing the speed limit, and they are actually on the streets racking up miles, racking up data, picking up and dropping off people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of good investment coming out of all this. If you're in the stock market, so.
Yeah. And Volkswagen partnered with IOTA. I heard that a
Yep.
while ago. So there's going to be some type of convergence with this autonomous vehicle, IoT, blockchain, cryptocurrency, uh, artificial intelligence. There are going to be a number of convergences happening in the future, in the next calendar decade of 2020, of the 2020s.
Hmm. Nvidia is another chip maker that's involved in all of this as well. So.
Hmm. So it seems like, since we are in the vacuum, and the what the vacuum is, or not the vacuum, but the uh sound chamber. I forgot what word I'm looking for. Where we are talking about this all the time, and the people that even listening to this all the time, we know it's coming down now. We see the little breadcrumbs leading up to the big loaf of bread. We see it. We hear it. We hear little things in the news. We see little articles, and we'll try to tell other people, but they may not listen. But we're on top of it. Yeah.
Hmm. We'll move on to the next article. Electric VW CEO says they'll have EVs as good as Teslas for half the price by 2020. This is by Fred Lambert from Electric. My take on this is that it's vaporware until you see something
Mm.
on the ground. You can say all this, make all these predictions. You have to remember. People have to remember that VW went through a scandal a couple years ago over diesel emissions. So they took a mean hit. 22 to 25% of their vehicle sales came out of diesel-based vehicles. So they took billions of dollars of loss on this whole scandal, and they need to revive themselves um, financially by coming out with a new product, and that product would be an electric vehicle. But Tesla has been making electric vehicles for years now, and they have a head start over any other manufacturer, including VW. Now, VW is the largest manufacturer in the world of cars. Um, they own many other brands such as Porsche, Audi, Lamborghini, Ducati, um, and Skoda, and a couple other brands. But they are shooting. This is a moonshot. If you're VW, you're trying to overtake Tesla when Tesla really has a BTO, which is called built to order. People are
Mm.
buying Tesla because they want Teslas, but people aren't lined up to buy a Volkswagen, so to speak, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense. It does. Volkswagen has not. Volkswagen doesn't have that that name in America. Um, excuse me. People are lining up, like you just said, to buy Volkswagens. Well,
Hmm.
last time you heard someone say, I'm going to buy a Volkswagen, it just doesn't have that name recognition like other cars. Tesla, Tesla vehicles are cool. Tesla vehicles are, you see them and you say, wow, I want that. The look of them is sexy, for lack of a better word. When you look at this photo of I think this is just a mock-up of what their vehicle is gonna be. It's a hatchback. So you're almost comparing a Prius to a Tesla Model 3 or Model S, the sports looking Tesla.
Hmm.
It's incomparable, and that's what the writer of this article said. You're comparing a hatchback to basically a sports car. It's incomparable. And then he said that they're going to be half the price, which standalone, it's close to half price, but not half price. But again, this is a hatchback. But the miles that they mentioned are wrong. They fudged the statistics on that.
Well, Volkswagen only has less than 10% of the U.S. market, but the rest of the world they own the majority of the markets. So there's a little bit of a distinction there. Hatchbacks is what Volkswagen is really known for. They're not really known for anything else other than the Beetle and the hatchback, which is the Golf, which I own both of those vehicles in my purchases of vehicles in the last few years. I can't say that I've been too enthusiastic about them, but they've served their purpose. Now, when it comes to electric vehicles, I think what turns a lot of people off is not just price, but it's practicality, range, and usability. Now, the Teslas come with two trunks, one in the rear, one in the front.
Hmm.
Um, the Volkswagen, I don't know how it's designed. I know the Golf E, if I remember, I think that's the term for it. Um, that has just trunk space, but it does not have cargo space in the front. So there's a little bit of a difference in how Volkswagen approaches it versus how Tesla approaches it. I think Tesla's had a huge head start because they're starting from the ground up with only one or two products. Was BMW, Audi, VW, especially. They have an assortment of cars in their lineup that they have to mine for, right? So you don't want one product cannibalizing the other, and that's part of their problem. For the most part, is really themselves, not so much as the consumer. Whereas Tesla, they kind of built one product, and you just had that to choose from. And if you didn't like that, then you were SOL. So you either bought it or you didn't.
It's kind of like what we stated previous in the previous article with the Netscape and Microsoft and Waymo and Ford. Waymo only have to do one thing, and they can be really great at that. But Ford, they they have to worry about more. And in this case, Tesla is like the Ford Model T currently, where okay, you can buy any Tesla you want as long as it's these three Teslas, and they are really good at that. They have a back order of 'em. But VW, they are too big, meaning they own too many brands. You know,
They own a lot of brands because that's. Hey Jack, what's going on, brother? They own a lot of brands because they've accumulated over the years, but they can share technology. So a good thing about that is that all those brands actually share a lot of the internal workings of their products. Now, for Volkswagen, what would have saved them a couple years ago is one if they would have had an electric Beetle.
oh,
I
that
think
would have been
people did
nice.
not like the Beetle. Right, I think people did not like the Beetle because it didn't do anything exclusive other than be a Beetle, and that wasn't enough. Right, Volkswagen was looking for the Mini Cooper effect that Mini had on that the Cooper had on the Mini brand. Right, so when the Cooper came out, everybody went out and bought one. Even to this day, uh, um, a Mini Cooper is only worth about 10 to 15 grand, but people are paying 35 and 40 grand for a Mini Cooper. That's how much demand is in place for the Mini brand itself. So when it comes to Volkswagen, they thought that they were going to have the same effect with the Beetle, and it did not really turn out to be so because one, it was expensive, and two, it wasn't exclusive. It didn't do anything exclusive other than the looks, right? Looks are not enough. What separated the Mini Cooper from everything else was that it was designed from the ground up to be what it was going to be, and they even have a 4 door version, a hatchback, not a hatchback, a SUV version to it. So they've covered all the market areas that they need to cover in order to satisfy customers. Whereas Volkswagen just maintain that one Beetle, that one Golf, the same way over and over and over, wash, rinse, and repeat. And people got
Hmm.
were like, that's not what I want. That's not. It's nothing. There's nothing impressive about it. Now
Yeah,
making an electric Beetle with a plug-in charger, and you can charge at Volkswagen's dealership, or you can charge at Starbucks or something like that. That's a genius. But
yes,
to not have that, yeah, you really shot yourself in the foot.
yeah. That would have been plenty genius. Now that you think of, oh, now that you say it, and I think about it, that would have been hand in hand. That would have been that's the logical move. Hey, we got this. This is a cult. The Beetle is like a cult classic. So
It is.
it looks like it should be electric, to be honest. It literally looks like it should be electric. Because people that are like environment friendly, those type of people drive that. So why not electrify it? It belongs electric, but they didn't do it. Like you said, they shot themselves in the foot.
The diesel scandal hurt them, so that's why they didn't pursue it.
Okay. Okay.
So
Hey,
What's up,
what's
what's
going
going
on,
on,
Jack? Go
Jack? How
brother?
ahead,
you?
brother.
What's going on, Chief? When it comes to EVs, right? Um, Obviously, affordability is there. What determines the demand? Like what determine what moves the market, right? And as far as the EV market, right? What's the demand?
The
It's not
demand is
pricing.
the tax rebate.
Mm.
The demand is the tax rebate. So when people bought Teslas, when Tesla came out, California, Massachusetts, New York, and I think um, one other state had um, rebates, tax rebates if you bought a Tesla. So if you bought a Tesla, you got $7,500 rebate, tax rebate in your return, and you also got a $1,500 tax rebate if you bought the charger for the house. So you're looking at something close to 10 grand off of a Tesla at the time, and it recently stopped this month. So it stops on October 31st of this year. So the incentive is starting to go away, but the financing is really what's going to drive people to it if they can afford to get a Tesla. Now, with the way um, Lyft and Uber and um, some of these other ride-sharing uh, companies are going, you may not see that much demand go unless you can afford it. So it's going to be a niche factor market, and the ability to just drive and drive and drive all over the place without charging, without having to stop and charge your cars is actually a pretty genius idea, because most people who drive gas cars tend to have a lot of issues that go with the engine in terms of maintenance and oil changes and water pumps and radiators. You
Belts
know,
and
just yeah, just a whole lot of issues that come out of new cars and used cars. Just the build quality is just not there. With electric cars, you don't have to worry about that too much. The only thing you have to either worry about is um, batteries catching on fire, or for the most part, a software update failing, because that's what you get. Instead of an oil change, you get a software update.
So pretty much is when it comes to competition with these companies, from what I'm hearing from you, is it's gonna be more of a who has better far as like software, better a more efficient software, more efficient um technology becomes the EV. That's what's gonna really drive this market, right?
Range, range is what people look for. On
Range.
av-
Okay.
on average, if yeah, on average, if I have to drive into work, right, I might do 30 to 35 miles round trip. For some people in California, they may do 60 miles round trip. That's a lot of miles, and you don't want to have to worry about trying to find a charging station, or where you're going to plug it up at. I knew one guy in Boston who used to take his car to a garage, and he used to have a Nissan Leaf, and he used to plug his car in at a garage, and before they had any charging bases, because um, Nissan had a basic three-prong plug that you can just plug into a wall. And at the garage, he used to plug his adapter into the wall. But what he found was every time he would come off from work, somebody would unplug it, so he didn't get a full charge. So he'll go home on a half battery, because people are hating on him, right? Because he has an electric car, and he's a douchebag. Who does he think he is, charging up here, killing, using up our electricity? That those sort of issues do come from it. Now, well, I won't go into the other story. I'll tell that one offline. But those are the issues that come with electric vehicles.
Yeah, I think I'm noticing a lot of these companies being doing are creating a bigger push for these EVs, man. I know I've seen Teslas, but now as I'm done more research on them, right, and more research on EVs, like especially the article we floated around um on the email with the brother who kind of like repairs the Teslas. And it's looking at that, it makes it more interesting, right? And I think that uh, I know people are still tied into gas powered vehicles as far as like, this the horsepowers and muscle cars and whatnot, because that's what I kind of grew up on. But just seeing the this the technology of these EVs, man, it's like it's becoming more interesting to me, right? So I think that's where things are going. Um, it's kind of weird to see like gas powered cars going to become more vintage cars or antiques. It's kind of trippy, but who do you think is going to set other than Tesla is going to lead the charge as far as EVs right now? Who do you think is kind of like, okay, they're gonna do it, they're making it happen?
Lead the charge. I mean, no pun intended. Um,
Hmm.
Good one.
um, that's hard to say because it's all built off of demographics. People who buy Mercedes want to buy Mercedes. People who buy BMW want to buy BMW. They don't really want to change all that much. Um, so if Porsche or BMW or Mercedes offers an electric vehicle, then they're going to jump on that before they go jump on a Tesla. They like the brand, they like the products, they like the service, they know what they're getting. They get customer loyalty and things of that nature. So there's a lot of um, incentive to buy in with the original brand that you already came out with for all these years. You've been sticking with for all these years. So in my opinion, I don't think that's going to matter too much. I think it's all going to be dependent on who offers the better product. If GM can come out with an electric Escalade, that's going to blow everything out the water.
Mm.
I mean, literally will blow everything out the water. An electric Escalade would would be a game changer, not just for GM but for everybody else, because now GM has raised the stakes in terms of who has the best SUV.
Mm.
Before recently people were talking about the Bentley truck and all this other stuff, but if Cadillac comes out with an Escalade, electric EV Escalade, they can charge 200,000 for that. That's gonna fly right off the lot.
Mm. It's interesting. That's deep, man. I never thought of it that way, but especially with these gas guzzlers and man, and especially the cost of gas,
Hmm.
that's a no brainer.
Yeah, an electric Escalade would, or any SUV, but an Escalade in this regard would get 250 miles to the charge because it's so big, and the batteries would be so spread out throughout the vehicle. They would have the best batteries and um, the longest range.
Mm.
I think the furthest range you can get, like on a BMW i3, is something like 183 miles to the charge. On a Tesla, I think it's something like 225, maybe 230 or something like that. I'm not sure. Anybody in the chat can actually look that up. Would appreciate that. Just
You know,
correct me.
it bugs me out, man. I was on the I guess the Florida Turnpike right today, and I'm doing like 90, and I saw a Tesla right next to me, and I'm looking at it. It was clean, and I'm like looking at it. It's speeding, and I'm just like there's no tailpipes. It throws me off to see like something goes so fast. Not fast, but like it's just and it's riding. I can tell it rides smooth, and it's like there's no tailpipes. That bugs me out, man. Because like I come from a mechanic family, so it's like I don't understand that. It bugs me out. So it's kind of dope. But is there any like what's the fastest EV car out there right now? Like, is there some hitting Lamborghini speeds or?
Yeah, the Tesla P90D is actually the fastest production car you can buy,
Hmm.
right? Because
How,
it doesn't have gears. It just has one forward, one reverse, right? So you push the gas. I mean, you push the acceleration pedal, and it just goes. It doesn't have to wait for any gears to
hmm.
pop up. So
Yeah, it's torquey, silent. Only thing you hear is the road, the tires against the road. Yeah.
well, you hear the whine too. You hear the whine from the motors.
So let me ask you this, man. To create, I always ask this question, but like, as far as brothers, right? How can we create our own EV car? And because if we can, what the demand is, we can offer that. We can create an EV car that give more miles. Even an EV like SUV, like, what does one to start with that? Creating an EV car, our own company.
Well, uh, well, put it like this. I think I just want to make this correction as well. Um, the Tesla Model S gets 315 miles to a charge.
Mm,
Just so everybody in the chat is listening.
That's
That's
a
a
lot of
long. That's a long
miles.
way. Yeah. Um, what it would take is a few billion bucks. If you're leveraging resources out of China. EV market is very, very expensive because you have to do a lot of research on batteries. Um, you also have to do chassis development as well to make sure that the batteries fit within the chassis, and the motors are part and partial to your battery development. So you have to make sure your motors aren't draining your batteries, and your batteries are actually efficient enough to get the range that is necessary. I don't foresee that market being something that black men can get into because those are for whales. You know, Ford is a whale, Volkswagen is a whale. Those are for big whale companies that have the money to invest into it. Now, what I do see happening is infrastructure that goes with EV cars, blockchain, chargers, um, what do you call that? Maintenance on swapping out those batteries and things of that nature. Those batteries need to be recycled every 5 to 10 years. So, um, something needs to be done with those batteries. They need to be broken down, need to be recycled, they can be refurbished, certified, all types of areas of opportunity in that arena.
So you have to look at it like, hey, what's the demand as far as the infrastructure, right? When it comes to those, and try to create a business model in that arena. So let's say it's more of just batteries, right? Like to dominate the batteries, or dominate um maybe certain sensors or whatnot, or certain things like that. Like it's kind of pretty much you want to dominate the parts, right? That's what you're saying.
Supply chain.
So, okay, all right. Yeah, I think it's there, man. As far as brothers, I think the ones who are gonna kind of take over on that, as far as like electrical engineers, that's a great market, I would think. Mechanical engineers, no, it's there. That's why I'm like, it's just so much opportunities. Just looking at that sector, there's so much opportunities there. You just gotta fit that demand. If you fit that demand, and it's gonna work.
Mhm. Right. Let me move on to the next article. This one is from EthereumWorldNews.com. Renewable energy startup wants to stupid pop-ups, man. Tackle Nigeria's electricity crisis using blockchain technology. Um, Here's my thoughts on this, without going too much into the article. Uh, Basically, what they're trying to do is leverage the infrastructure, which is that of the solar panels that generate um, heat from the solar panels to actually create um, tokens, so blockchain tokens off of it, and it's mapped to a network. So you generate these blockchain tokens and you use that to actually subsidize the cost of energy to other residents or customers in that area. I think it's an ingenious way of going about it.
So let me get this straight. Okay. Excuse me. This company is going to build obviously a field or two or three of solar panels, and the energy that they get from that is going to be stored in batteries. And to access that energy, you have to pay in the tokens, and as you pay, you get more energy. And using the blockchain, you can see if obviously you can see if you're getting what you're paid for and how much you are paying for.
Not
Is that a simple?
necessarily. I think it might be a little bit different. I think the energy that is produced out of it is actually generating the tokens by default through the blockchain itself, and through that physical to digital infrastructure transfer, they're using those tokens as energy credits. In the United States, we call them subsidies or credits.
So the population will have to buy the tokens in order to get the energy.
Correct.
Now that part, I'm not I have a question mark about that part. I'm not saying I doubt it or anything. I just can't see how that works in my mind. But knowing that just as the article said, Nigeria is over dependent on um, uh, generators. This obviously this it sounds better than that. Not only right now they're doing the solar panels, but the renewable energy whole thing. I think that's great. That's awesome, fantastic. Two thumbs up. And yeah, yeah.
Well, well, think about it this way: in the United States, when you use up a lot of when you don't use all your electricity, you sell it back to the grid. So this is like no different, but they're using solar panels and they're using the blockchain to actually do it. So it does make sense in that regard that you do have the same philosophy of doing business, right? You're basically setting up, let's say you owned a plaza or something like that in Nigeria, and you had allocated these rooftops to the whatever the solar panel company is. In this regard, you become your own energy company, and
Hmm.
you can sell that back to everybody else in the neighborhood, right? So there's ways to actually work it.
So
You're not knocking down any trees or anything like that. You're actually using existing infrastructure to actually put all this up.
so the different people would be selling um energy to whoever wants to buy it.
Hmm.
Okay.
Whoever needs it,
A-
right? Right.
And
So whoever needs it in the neighborhood.
to do that they're using a token that that would be the medium of exchange, the token.
Correct. Correct. On the blockchain itself, and with the signature and the authentication, and if you don't pay, right, so they can determine who you are, who's delinquent on payment on their utility bill.
Okay, so I was thinking it was coming from one company, but the company is designing the blockchain for everyone to use to sell energy to whoever wants to buy it through the blockchain they're designing.
Right. And I assume that it's going to be a partnership with whoever they go into business with. I mean, you can't just put solar panels on somebody's somebody's real estate and then not actually split the bill with them,
Right.
split
So
the income
okay,
with them.
so this blockchain has potential to be a multi-million dollar blockchain, even a multi-billion dollar blockchain, because I understand you just can't slap solar panels onto anything. You have
Hmm.
to have some type of consistent, steady infrastructure to gather the energy and sell it back into sell it to other people through this blockchain.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. This is a game changer. Yeah, I like this because you're allowing other people to make money, real money.
Right. It pays in dividends, basically,
Hmm.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Your,
yeah.
your,
Oh
your
yeah,
tokens are your dividends. So
oh yeah, oh yeah.
when
I like
and in
this.
the article it talks about it's just a few thousand right now, but by 2020 it's gonna grow to a few million.
Oh yeah, I like this.
Nigeria has what has the largest population in Africa, right? I think something like 200 something million people in one
200
country.
some million by 2025. It's supposed to balloon to I think it's supposed to balloon to 200 some 20 million by 2025. And later on, like 2020, 40, 300 some million. But majority of the people are in Lagos State, which is on the coast. And that's yeah, I like this. I like this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity to make money, but Mike, what do you think could be a problem with this? Because obviously it has its benefits, but what do you think could be an issue with this?
Nothing,
Mm.
realistically. I mean,
compared to what they got now.
Case where it's so yeah, compared to the other generators and the amount of gas that they have to produce, and
Yeah,
you know the noise from the generators, it must be noisy as
pollution.
crap out there. Because I had, well, not so much the pollution. Pollution doesn't really be generated by these small generators. They're only like 1 horsepower anyways. They're like a lawnmower. But
If you got many of them, though.
the you have a lot of them, but that's all temporary, right? They only run a few hours a day.
Yeah, okay,
They're not running all day.
You got a point. You got a point.
Right. But if you can use all those solar panels, create a network, create a blockchain, create the tokens on top of it, it's self-management. Basically, you're creating a digital grid.
Yeah, I like this.
Now, do you think this model could be replicated to other places in Africa? Because not only one company has to do it; there can be many other companies that do it. So, this is something that I think people can learn from and replicate it in other areas and make money as well, and create their own blockchain token, right? If I'm
Well, not
explaining it correctly, right?
so you need the token on the blockchain in order to buy the energy, right? So that's the only reason you have it. But what I'm saying here is that it you're creating infrastructure out of existing infrastructure, right? And supplying a need. So there's a lot of value coming out of it. Now, typically, most businesses don't make money within their first year, but this is going to make money within its first year because people need it.
Yeah, just buy. You can purchase not only land and build solar panels on it, but abandoned buildings and outfit it with in some type of way solar panels, feed it back to the grid
Not even.
because Nigeria is
I didn't mean
is
to,
is a oh no problem. Nigeria is a tropical country. It's sun there majority of the year, so it's going to be a lot of money being made. Nigeria's population is expected to boom. And 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 who's to say you may be able to go in a partnership and sell it with some of these other countries that surrounding Nigeria. You never know. But this is almost instant money.
Right, and this is something that Akon tried to pull in Senegal.
Mm-hmm.
So he did something very similar. He actually created a infrastructure for a whole town, not just for a neighborhood, but for a whole town. So he brought electricity into places that never had electricity before.
Yes.
So all your street lights and your street lamps and your small little villages and stuff like that all had electricity based on that alone. So that there's a lot of Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead. Now I was gonna ask, is it still running fine? Like everything's still good over there with the power? It's still going good?
Yeah, it's actually a business model that was that's being replicated all over Africa.
Damn.
So the way Akon did it, for those who are listening and don't know, there was when Obama was in office, there was some solar panels that was manufactured in China that was supposed to be shipped to the United States, and Obama put tariffs on these solar panels. I think something like 90% or something like that. It wasn't even worth it for China to send them over here, so they sat in a warehouse in China. And it just so happened that Akon was in Africa, was in Senegal, and said, where's all the electricity? He didn't understand it, and China actually allocated or lent Akon $2 billion in yuan, which is a lot of money, to buy these solar panels. And he was able to take those solar panels off the hands of the Chinese and bring them into Senegal and start creating infrastructure overnight. I think it took him like maybe less than 6 months.
Yep.
Damn. He borrowed the money from China, right?
They gave him the AAIB, I believe it's the Asian or AIIB, sorry, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Yeah. So they're very good about giving out loans.
Okay, now seeing how that worked, like what did he have to leverage to get that, or he just gave off him just okay? He he is who he is, right?
No,
Like,
Akon,
I heard him
Akon's
say,
he's a half a billionaire, right?
yeah,
He's worth
yeah,
something like 200 plus million. So his
yeah,
credit goes far.
mm,
right. He brought some money to the table. I'm I remember hearing him saying that he brought some money to the table. He just didn't come in empty-handed. Hey, I'm Akon, give me this now.
okay.
Mhm.
Akon not stupid. You know,
Yeah,
people want to talk about him, but Akon ain't stupid.
that was genius, man. That was unheard of. And then I know the media kind of downplayed. They didn't really put it out there like that, But
Well,
um,
but we putting it out there, so
yeah, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. He definitely brought some money to the table. Well, his own personal money to the table.
Mm. So what like this type of technology for our solar panels, that'll be like electrical engineering, electrical technology. Is that that type of field, or is that like what's the best field to get into to make money in this type of arena for brothers?
Um, you mean academically?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You need at least a year of EE 101, EE 102, EE 103.
Okay.
Those are the academic. Those are the academic what do you call it? Descriptions for electrical engineering or electrical technology.
And
They all use the same coding.
go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. They all use the same what?
No, I said they all use the same numerical coding.
Okay. And like, what's the pay like? Is the pay is good in this field right now?
I would say it's all it's all dependent on the market. So if you're in America, then yeah, the pay is going to be pretty decent. I don't know what the pay would be like in other countries,
Okay.
but you kind of write your own ticket when you have that skill set. So
Mm. Yeah, I
you can
think
it's been talked about. It's been talked about doing this here as well, right? So you have something called LEED, which I think is like a standard for energy energy efficiency in the United States. You see a lot of commercial buildings say have these green signs on the outside saying that they're LEED certified and stuff like that. So I think that's a signature that say that they are energy efficient. And part of the energy efficiency, especially in Boston, we have like all these commercial buildings that have vertical turbines on them, solar panels everywhere. They get a credit for all this stuff from the federal government. So there's an investment going into predominantly black and brown neighborhoods um, about using these solar panels um, on public infrastructure. So your libraries, your public schools, your high schools, and stuff like that should have all this infrastructure tied in. And what has been talked about for maybe a year or so now is how do you um, how do you tie in people into the infrastructure as well because they're paying for it, right? Because it's public infrastructure, so it's being funded by taxpayers. There's a whole gamut behind it that goes with it. So I don't want to take up too much time now to actually discuss it, but that's something we'll revisit on another day.
yeah, definitely, man. I think energy is um it's a good field. You know what I mean? So it's good that brothers can get into because I think I met one engineer. He works in wind turbine. He makes like he said he was making like 40 some dollars an hour. So
Yeah, that's normal.
that's normal, right? Okay, well,
Yeah, that's normal because you're an electrical engineer, so you're going off of what journeyman pay or whatever it is.
okay, good stuff.
Tony Lackey had a question in the comment in the chat section. Could individuals just buy solar panels? Yeah, yes you can. Go on Alibaba, go on eBay. There are plenty of solar panels that you can buy. Now, how you set it up is up to you.
I think it's gonna be something big, man, because especially all these people leaving these towns, right? And a lot of people trying to get into no, we discussed about tiny homes or whatnot. So people are trying to look for low cost, sustainable living, right? So it's like, I mean, affordable living. So it's like that's something. It could be a big demand for that right now, or in the near future, because people are trying to save money, especially with the economy and whatnot. So that's something that brothers should look into.
Hmm. Go to the next article. CNBC. HTC launches its blockchain-focused phone, but you can only buy it in cryptocurrency. The HTC's Exodus One comes with a secluded area kept separate from the Android operating system it runs on to keep a customer's cryptocurrency safe. The blockchain-based phone is part of HTC's shifting strategy regarding smartphones, which will prioritize software and intellectual property. It is available for pre-order at a price of uh, 0.15 bitcoins, or 4.78 ether tokens, which translates to $960, and is expected to be shipped by December. Lionel,
Yeah.
your thoughts on this?
Outside of the move by HTC to do this, outside of that specific talk of why they would do this, um, me, I wouldn't feel safe having a cryptocurrency wallet on my phone because of the high probability that it can be stolen. What the article mentioned was, okay, it will have a secluded section where you can keep your cryptocurrency. Then a wallet that's on the phone would store your private keys, and your private keys is your signature to release your data. That's your personal signature, digital signature. Why a person would have that on their phone, I am not comfortable with that. What I did like was when it said it will have a social way for you to retrieve your cryptocurrency by, I guess, calling or verifying with 7 people that you're really who you are, and 7 people in your phone that you're really who you are, and you can get your cryptocurrency back. I don't know if they were getting at this, but I would like a way where the wallet that's on your phone is connected to your personal computer at home, and you can put crypto on it that you plan to spend, keep it on there that you plan to spend, meaning it'll be a hot wallet, and you can, if you lose your phone, then your crypto is not necessarily on your phone. It's just there. Yes, it's there, but it's really on your laptop at home. But not keep. I'm not. I'm just not comfortable with actually keeping crypto on your phone. I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay.
And okay, what a blockchain phone, is it purposely for you to have crypto on your phone, or but what's the advantages outside having crypto on your phone? Cryptocurrency on your phone. What
So
is
it,
the yeah?
so it runs a micro OS on it. We call it microservices in the tech industry, in the IT industry. We call it microservices. So basically, it's a small operating system within the operating system of the phone itself. So it's like a virtual machine, and that's where your crypto is stored at. So you can transplant. So the keys will stay on the phone in that secluded area of the operating system itself. So even if you did lose it, it wouldn't be usable to anybody else. Now, my understanding of microservices is that you could actually back up your microservices somewhere else. whether it's in the cloud or you can put it onto like you can put it onto like a key, a USB thumb drive.
Okay.
Now, the purpose of it being on the blockchain, it being a blockchain phone, allows it to actually be on serverless infrastructure, which is exactly what a micro OS is, serverless infrastructure. So you can put that on the blockchain and then you can go to another device and actually authenticate yourself to that device from the blockchain.
When you say serverless, you mean no service provider?
Serverless. So there's no actual data center server where it resides.
Okay.
So it doesn't have any hardware. The hardware is the software itself. So that's the micro OS.
Okay.
So Lionel, I know you're heavy into cryptos and blockchain, right? So how much of obviously they're making security a high priority, right? So um what other ways you feel like what do you think no, what do you think is the biggest issues for security when it comes to cryptos and certain things in this arena? Like what as a trader, right? What do you think is the biggest problem for security?
First with crypto, the first level problem with security is the person itself, because now you are having to be your own bank, keep track of all your money. You don't have a person you can go to and say, "Hey, this happened. Can you reinstall?" No, you are the end all be all. That's currently in crypto. Obviously, that can change as more people and institutions come into it. Your private keys. When people say your private keys are a line of digits and numbers that is your signature, your digital signature. It's like your your literal hand signature. Not, but it's your signature that sign off on transactions to send money here or send money there, or in the blockchain that's has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. Blockchain itself, it signs off on your data, your personal data being used here or there. But as far as crypto, I think the person is is the first line of cybersecurity, both good and bad. But then you have hackers. As long as you keep your funds safe in terms of disconnected from the internet, if you plan to hold them for a while, or if you plan to spend them immediately, meaning that'll be a hot wallet, as long as you keep your funds safe and you're not loose with them, careless with them, you should be fine. It's not that hard, but at the same time, it is hard.
So it sounds like from what you're saying, um it's a job, it's a task, it's to protect your money, right?
Yes,
So go ahead, bro, go
yes,
ahead.
it is a task only because it's a new thinking of you are the sole person in controlling your money. So it used to be, well, you put your money in the bank, you don't have to worry about it. That was a release off your mind. You knew your money was safe in these big institutional banks. Now you have to worry about your money because you are the bank. That's just more on your mind. So it's just a task, but it can be easy, but still you're asking people to do things that they never done, what they haven't done before in their lives, and humans haven't done before. Um, first world humans haven't done before in a very long time.
Hmm. Now you know how like yeah these like white collar crimes, right? Do you think that as people become more used to using cryptos, right? It's coming more. You have huge institutions are putting money into these markets, right? So it's like, do you think that's going to be more of an issue with those people who are not really too cautious how to take care of their money? Because not everybody think like you, right? Not everybody. The average trader, probably doesn't put that much thought into protect their money. You're just like, oh, I just trade here, I trade here, and I put this, I do it this and put that. But like, do you think a lot of people are going to get scammed out of their money in the sense of like get robbed in the
E-
future?
yes. Short answer, yes. And take this phone for an example. If you put your crypto, say a person purchases this phone, and they put their crypto on their phone. Let's say they have $200 worth of crypto on this HTC Exodus One phone, but they don't back up the wallet in another place. They they they're lax on that. They don't do that, which means they can't access the fund if their phone is stolen. And let's say they are at the club. They put their phone down, they talking to a young lady, and somebody see their phone like, man, that's a nice phone. And they swipe their phone. They just lost A, their phone, and B, the $200 worth of crypto that's on their phone. Be- because they haven't backed up that wallet that's on the phone where they can access the funds after it's stolen. So now they don't have anyone to go to and say, hey, my phone was stolen at the club last night. Can you take the funds off there and put it back in my home wallet? You can't do that because you are the person that's solely responsible for your funds. So that that's a problem. Me personally with having wallets, crypto on your phone.
I I just want to correct. I know, with because this is an Android-based device. Um, the function of ADM, which is Android Device Manager, allows you to back up your phone. It maps out where the phone is, and it actually does what you're trying to allude to.
Okay.
So even if your phone is lost, you can just back it up remotely from your desktop.
Okay.
It's encrypted, so you there is nothing they can get from it unless they plug it up into like a computer and got the sophisticated tools to break into it. It's highly unlikely that they're going to get to it because it's stored inside the micro OS, which is what the article was saying, that the phone is double secure. So it's multi-factor secure. So you have your PIN, you have your fingerprint, which is the biometric authentication, and then you have the micro OS that's already encrypted itself.
Okay. So even if someone
So
swipe it,
yeah. So they get through the first two layers, even if they broke the first two layers, they still can't get to that micro OS because it's so embedded inside the operating system they won't be able to find it.
okay, I got you. And the only thing a person needs to do is just just do whatever they need to do on their end from their computer to take the crypto off that phone
Right, you need to re-authenticate to the blockchain itself.
from another
So
device.
there's a way to do it. Yep, right from another
Okay,
device,
I
which
see what
would
you're
make
saying.
the original device inoperable
Unable
because
to
you
access
can't be
that
in two places at
blockchain.
once.
Right, right,
Right.
right. Gotcha. So a person will only a person could only access that crypto blockchain from one point. Can't like you said, access it from different points.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hey, freelance Ronin, what's going on, man?
Oh, what's going on, freelance?
Yeah, we're freelancing tonight. You want to get on the
Right.
chat, man? You want to get on the panel? Let us know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. I think blockchain is interesting in terms of crypto because even if, let's say you had some stellar lumens, you had like 100,000 stellar lumens, but for some reason you were able to remember your private keys verbatim. So that's called a brain, um, like a, I forgot the name of it, but
Brain trust.
yeah, brain trust, pun intended. So you're able to to remember your private keys. You can go anywhere in the world and access the Stellar Lumens blockchain with your private keys because the blockchain is a distributed ledger. It tells who has what amount. Uh, this specific blockchain, blockchain is blockchain regardless. But the Stellar Lumens blockchain lets you know that hey, such and such has 100,000 stellar lumens. So you access that blockchain and you want your stellar lumens. It's all on a blockchain, man. It's that's even though it's a task to keep track of your money, but it's all on a blockchain. And as long as you access that blockchain, you can get your money because the ledger says, and everybody agrees that hey, you got 100,000 stellar lumens. It can't be deleted. It's immutable. And you can access that blockchain anywhere in the world. Man, I need some money. I need to sell about 100 stellar lumens. Let me access that lumens blockchain with my private key. That's why people always say, keep control of your private key. It is your signature. It is your access to your money. If someone controls your private key, they can go on whatever blockchain and access your information. It's your digital signature that controls who you are and how much money you have.
Do you think this is gonna take a hit as time go on? Banks are gonna take a hit off of this because
Well,
instead of putting your money in the bank, you put your money in your wallet.
banks are already adapting to this, so uh, they may take a hit on it, but I don't think they're going to go away because everybody's
No,
not built for this.
no. I went to a security conference this weekend, and they had a girl from Visa actually talking about using this sort of technology on Android specifically. So they're already ahead of the game. And they're
Yeah,
talking about making your phone into a credit card, basically your Android phone.
yeah. And everybody's not built for this, for the crypto thing. Just like everybody don't invest in the traditional stock market. People are not gonna that's not going to magically change because another asset class has come along. It's going to be the same percentage of people investing in it compared to the percentage of people that's not investing in it.
Now, I don't think I look at this. I'm not thinking about regulation. I don't think they can be able to regulate this. I don't think. I don't know, man. Like, is this gonna be able? You do you think this is gonna be able to be regulated? You think they can regulate this stuff?
Yes,
Well, they
yes.
regulate it now.
Okay.
Yeah, you got back, which is um a platform that was started by the ICE, which is the Intercontinental Exchange. They own the New York Stock Exchange. They partner with Microsoft. They partner with Starbucks, and it's rumored that they partner with also McDonald's. They're already businesses and corporations are already coming into it and regulating it. Yeah, yeah, to be honest, it needs regulation to advance. It can't keep staying the Wild West.
What's up?
Move on to the next article. This one's from space.com. Asteroid or comet, where blue space rock Phaethon gets a close-up. An artist's impression of the blue asteroid 3200 Phaethon, original image credit Heather Roper, University of Arizona. So, my take on this is that the article discusses that the rock is blue because it's been scorched on all sides by the sun. So, high probability that it could be an asteroid, could be a comet. Whether or not it is, either really probably doesn't matter because it's already been burned to a crisp, and any sort of evidence that would have been on there or any sort of material that was probably on there is probably all burned to a crisp anyways. You can't get anything from it. What's your take on this? I know.
The article gives a great. Well, the article explains the difference between a comet and an asteroid, and it was just basically saying a comet is a piece of rock that's covered by ice, and once it gets close to the sun starts to melt that ice. The ice has dirt in it, so it leaves a coma, which is a dirt trail behind it. So that is a comet, but an asteroid is just a rock. It doesn't have a dirt trail behind it when it gets heats up. So that's the difference. This specific one, um, that's to my opinion, that goes to show that space is full of surprises. You know, you have this thing. We don't know if it's an asteroid or a comet. It has comet features such as the coma, the debris trail, but it doesn't heat up where ice and dirt is flying off of it. And they're trying to figure this thing out. Why does it act like a comet, but it's an asteroid? Why is it blue? These things that was put forth in the article are just theory. They're not fact, but even though they're theory, they're good theories. But even some of the best theories were proven wrong. But this thing is blue. Why is it blue? Why? Um, just like the other asteroid, the a few months ago, the Oumuamua, it was a long asteroid. It wasn't round. It was more vertical than anything, and it took a strange turn around the sun.
It was round.
No, it wasn't round. It was a long. It it was like a pin. It was pin shaped. You know, and it took a strange turn around the sun. So space is extremely vast, and extremely is not even a word to explain. But why is this thing blue? You know, what's the properties of
It's
this?
right. So it would be blue if it was burned, right? Usually metal turns blue when you burn it. Like titanium, if you look at titanium tips on a high performance car, the tips are blue because they've
Okay.
been burned. So high probability that there's some strong metal properties inside that rock. Could be
Mm.
iridium, could be a variety of other things.
Which and
So if
Japan
if it's solid blue like they say it is, that means that there's some metal properties in there.
and Japan's
You don't
supposed.
want that thing colliding with you. Yeah. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, because if it's some metal properties, some strong hard metal properties, it'll do damage if it collides. And Japan's supposed to take a look at it on their space mission just to look see what the properties of it some more. But that's a good observation from your part. Yeah, this But they can also say, hey, if asteroids are blue, mm, don't let a blue asteroid get past you because there's it's some metal in there that you might need.
Could be a rare earth metal. I don't know how many other pieces of metal on the periodic table actually turn blue. I'm not sure if it could be cobalt. I don't particularly look at the periodic table to really understand which metals they're referring to that would
Oh,
actually
really?
turn blue. I
Oh,
know
really?
aluminum. Go ahead.
I said, I know. I was gonna say, I look at the periodic table every day. No, but I don't. I don't.
Yeah, but I think the last asteroid you were referring to was you said Uma.
Oumuamua, Oumua.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. You got any comments on this, Jack?
I'm just thinking like if we got so close to the sun for it to scorch it, right? I would think that the heat of the sun would pretty much, melt this metal or this like, you know, I guess change the shape of the metal. But I guess it did. What is it? The shape is like it's like more of a spear. It's like was it more circular in shape? Well, what's the shape of it?
I think it's more circular, like a rocky circular shape,
Okay.
like a regular asteroid or comet.
Hmm, that's interesting. And it said it flew near the sun or went like
It went close enough to the sun to get melted on all sides.
mm. So I think what that mean is, yeah, I guess it's right what Mike's saying. It has to be some type of metal, right? But I want to know what type of metal it is because I don't know if there's any type of new type of element, it could possibly be. So
Never
uh,
know.
yeah,
Unless you go, to it.
yeah.
Oh well, yeah. If the Japanese can get a piece off of the asteroid itself, but judging by the condition of the asteroid, or the rock, whatever they want to call it. Um, it might be hard to get a piece to get any sort of evidence from it because it's so hard to penetrate.
Hmm.
Now this is another question I have. Like seeing that it went near the sun, right? Do you think it could create some form of radiation?
Yeah, it has radiation. There's radiation all throughout the belt.
Okay.
That's why you wouldn't bring it back to Earth, but you would actually you would put it. They've been talking about using building space laboratories in order to examine things before bringing it to Earth. Anyway, so
Well, I'm saying as far as how much radiation is it like past the belt? Like how much radiation like is it? Like is it equals to like a nuclear meltdown at a power plant or something? That type of radiation or stronger than that?
uh, it's enough to do some damage to your skin, right?
Mm,
It's enough to be harmful to you. So
okay,
most humans can't tolerate it.
that's very interesting.
Hmm. Anybody in the chat have something? No.
That's interesting though. A blue, if it comes back that hey, this thing has these properties of metal, or even rare metals, non-earth metals, and it's blue. What's to say that other asteroids that are not blue or dark, black, or whatever the case may be, maybe red or orange's hue? You know that if
Well,
it's this color, then you know.
well, that's why you hear this all this talk now about space exploration and asteroid mining. They want to see what materials are on there and what they can gain from it. So
Yeah. There's so many asteroids out there to be mined. I still I'm a firm believer that when people think of the asteroid belt, when you say the asteroid belt, people may think, oh, yeah, it's a few rocks out there. No, there's a few multi-million rocks out there, that you can mine. There's no war in the immediate future will be fought over, hey, you got the last rock full of titanium. Nah, it's too many out there to mine, you know.
Not necessarily, but it could be. You may see, space colonialism. You may see
Hmm.
whoever has the strongest, space force will start shooting down satellites and other vehicles trying to get to these asteroids, and that one country may keep it out of the hands of those other countries, just so you
That can
can't have it.
that can happen. But I mean, they're not gonna go to war because asteroid C128 is the last one in the solar system that contains these specific metals. Not specifically over that.
Well, well, it depends on what they're discovering, right? So if that's a precious metal that they need to survive, that could really determine whether or not they decide to go to war.
Mhm.
We'll move on
This
to the
what
next
sticks out
article.
to me. Real quick,
Go
real
ahead,
quick.
go ahead.
So, all right. So we have. I know they're discussing the Big Bang, right? The God particle. Not to be spooked out or anything, but like it's kind of trips me out how we're trying to figure out this rock, but you know, I guess theorists say that we came from nothing, right? And now we're here. So it's like it makes you think. Like you have this floating rock or floating piece of metal around in space. Is this it makes you think of the mysteries of you know, I guess of time, right? Of the universe, of space. So um as far as the Big Bang, has any more research or any more data has came from that, from what you guys see? I know they're working on it on
They're still trying to.
the God particle.
Well, they're still trying to do research on Mercury, right? So Mercury is still an important component of understanding where things started. They
Hmm.
haven't really done enough research to actually determine, this quote unquote alleged God particle, right? So until they can do all the necessary research on every single planet and all the moons that surround those planets, it'll be a long time before they come up with a conclusion.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything's just theory right now. I mean, they're saying, dark matter is what leads the sun and the planets, everything just to float in space. It's like an ocean of dark matter out there, but they haven't found dark matter. It's just theorized right now.
Yeah, because isn't like the space, isn't space like it's like 90%, well, I think it's like 95% is dark and then like 5% is light. So it's um again, just to research dark matter itself, I think is very pertinent to understand that. So yeah, I'm getting too deep, man, too deep.
Mm, more.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next article. NBCNews.com. Comets and asteroids may be spreading life across the galaxy. Are germs from outer space the source of life on Earth? Interstellar objects like Mumia
Yeah,
could be the source of life as we know it. That's the asteroid you were talking about before.
yeah. Yeah, the long.
Thought that was thought you were saying Umar before. I was like, someone. Dr. Umar Johnson has his own asteroid.
No. That Umuyami is vertical. Umar is horizontal. That's we're talking about two different ones. Mia.
I thought I always thought Umar was pro black.
Well, it is a black.
Yeah, I know we can't really hear you because you're away from the microphone.
Oh yeah, I was saying the asteroid is black.
Okay. So
red and black. Oh no, red and green. Never mind. I don't know why I said that. Okay.
Yeah. I just want to give my synopsis on this article. I think the article has a lot of theory to it that questions the validity of where life really started. Because if you do have these asteroids or these rocks that are floating around with bacteria and all types of other DNA that may have come from exoplanets or different planets, who's to say, where life really started and whether or not, where's your DNA really from, right? You got a rock that asteroid that hit one planet, explodes, rock debris goes into the atmosphere, floats through space for a few million years, and lands on Earth, causes another extinction level event, and then that DNA is then transferred into into your planet, and now you may have DNA from something millions of miles away. I think that's a very interesting thought process, and could be highly likely. I mean, they're saying that Mars had life on it maybe 8 billion years ago.
That's a long time ago. Okay, Earth is what 4 billion years old. So, I forgot how old they said the universe is, but this is okay. This is where it gets trippy at. This is where it gets hard to wrap your mind around this, because this can it I understand what other people are saying in this article, where they say, well, even if asteroid did carry this stuff, the radiation in and around an asteroid would kill it. I understand that, but there was a news article before where in another solar system, a few like 4 planets that were real close to each other, that scientists say they were terraforming each other. How asteroids was bombarding each other from one planet to the other. But this is totally possible. You never know what the conditions was millions of years ago. Miracles happen. Space miracles happen. This is man. We could be from another solar system. We I don't know, but I don't doubt it.
Jack, your take?
I look at this. I think what matters the most to me about this article is, um, I think we're getting closer, man. As time go on, we get closer, and find more things out, right? So that logically does make sense. That makes a lot of sense. Everybody trying to figure out how to get. Even that last article we read, I think a few weeks ago, where 500 million years ago, there was you know there was something here that had high cholesterol, right? So it's like every day they're unfolding something else new every day. So I think the meaning of this is, people need to open their minds up and realize that the answers are there, and And yeah, like it makes sense to me. It resonates with me. Like it makes a lot of sense. Like that is logical. That DNA could be on uh, a space rock. But the thing I'm trying to figure out is like, how does it? Well, all the elements, as far as you know, heat, radiation, um, sometimes the cold. How does it? How does it not get destroyed? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So yeah, it's a lot to think about.
Okay, well, okay, I just did looked it up, but scientists have found in the most inclement weather on Earth, such as cold and hot weather, organisms have lived. Different type of organisms live. Um, they may not be animal organisms, but they're organisms nonetheless. I just looked up how old the universe is. I wanted to say it, but I wasn't very familiar. It's about 13.8 billion years old. That's pretty young. And this is scientists saying this. If the universe is 13.8 billion years old, that's an infant. And
Hmm.
What are you saying? Wait. What are you saying? It's barely legal?
yeah, it barely it can barely drink milk. This thing is super young. I mean, if we talking, this thing is not even in the hundreds of billions of years old. It's not even.
Well,
It's
is there other galaxies that's older, like 100 billion, 200 billion years old
no.
out there?
The universe is 13
Universe,
billion
okay,
years old. So the galaxies are in the universe.
okay.
Um,
Hmm.
we maybe could be the only living. We're definitely the only living um, intelligent life in this solar system. But in our part of the galaxy, we may be the only living ones. But I'm not just saying that there were other intelligent species before us, but it couldn't have been that many before us. But I believe this is my personal opinion. But I believe there will be a lot more after us.
Hmm.
But then again, who's to say that we may not evolve to a point where we can live as long as the galaxy, not the galaxy, but the universe or universes live. This 13.8 billion years is just young. It's very young.
Hmm. See, I never thought of it that way. I think like everybody was thinking, okay, where do we come from? Like how many years back? But I never thought about that. Like, okay, after us, this is going to continue to go, right?
Oh
Other
yeah.
civilizations, it's going to continue. It's never going to end, right? So it's like, yeah, it's an endless cycle. It's an endless cycle.
I know one thing. As soon as I get a chance, I'm going to Alpha Centauri. See what's cracking over there.
Let me check the chat real quick.
Serious B, son.
Yeah, Renault Cherry says there are specimens that can survive the conditions of space. Freelance Ronin says there are some microorganisms surviving in volcanic environments.
Hmm.
Something to think about.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
And then you look
I
at
didn't know
we,
that.
I think we covered Chernobyl last week, and there's plants, there's animals roaming around in environments where there was nuclear fallout
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago.
Hmm.
So that
And
could
they
say
estimate that
that.
human.
Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
No, I think to me, what I mean is, um, you know, biology is like again, like yeah, this. So it is. It's that can confirm that uh, microorganisms in space can go to different planets and survive in space. So that just confirms it right there. If it can survive in a volcano, right? and what Mr. Cherry said also in space, like it's possible, like it makes sense.
Must be black organisms. No? Crickets? Okay.
Pro black organisms.
Yeah. Oh well.
The Pookie and Ray Rays,
That
man.
means the sisterhood. That means the sisterhood will survive anything.
Oh man, let's not go there with that, man.
Oh boy, here we go.
What's going on with this?
Yeah, freelance Ronan said it's amazing how life can adapt.
Mhm.
That's true.
Hmm.
It makes you look at even the black people, man. Like we, one of the oldest, consider one of the oldest races. Uh, no matter what's going on, we continue to thrive. We continue to populate. So it's like it's the same thing, you know. So uh, that's very. I can see the link. It's interesting.
Hmm. So this next article is by NationalGeographic.com. Pull this down. Cosmonaut brain shows space travel causes lasting changes. A new study of Russian space travelers adds to evidence that life among the stars has many consequences. Um, we talked about this before, about sending people to Mars and uh, other planets and stuff like that, and you can do it if you really tried, if you really wanted to. Actually, not. The idea of sending somebody in a spacecraft moving at Mach 6 speed for the next 6 months, that's just not sustainable. There's no gravity out there. There's different conditions. Even a person lasting, at least according to this article, 100 and 180 days in space can actually do some significant damage to your brain, move it around like yolk inside of an
Mm.
eggshell. So I don't know if we can ever reach that point where we start sending people to other planets. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, so in order for us to sustain, because even okay, in order for us to sustain the journey, the technology to sustain our bodies and all our bodies would be Earth, would have to be Earth-like. This is where we started at. So anywhere we go, any planet, we will have to, if we want to continue as is, we will have to terraform that planet like our own. We will have to, unless we just want to let evolution do its thing, but that can be painful. So we will have to terraform that planet like Earth because that's what we're used to. It will need water, it will need the scenery, and all the other minute creature comforts. In other words, we will have to take over the planet. We will have to make it our own, regardless of what's there or not. Um, if 180 days in space would do that to our brains, like you said, 6 months is inconceivable with the technology and the suits we have now. So we will have to send AI and robots there to Mars, which is our closest planet to ours, to see what's going on there. If we want to live on Mars, we will have to terraform Mars to make it Earth-like, some type of way. We can't live anywhere and just say, well, we're still human. We will have to take over that planet and change it.
Jack.
Just trying to figure out because I know Russia and China are trying to figure out or trying to create the first colony on the moon, right? So, um, do you think they accounted for all the hours of all these astronauts in space, right? And they kind of got things figured out as far as like sustaining population on least the moon. If they get that figured out, I think they can figure out other planets. But um, do they have data on this already? Because what you're saying is that it does affect humans' minds, right? Be in space for like 6 months.
No, no, 180 days. 6 months is to travel to Mars at its closest point to Earth.
Okay, okay. Hmm. Well, I mean,
180 days is 30. What? Wait, that is 6. No, no, wait, that is about
Yeah,
6 months.
it's about 6 months. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
include the leap year. But what the article was saying is that based on the MRIs and CAT scans that they've done on the brains of these cosmonauts that come down from Earth, they've noticed significant differences in the shape of their brains and the other fluids inside their body that connect, the nerves and stuff like that to your spinal cord. So they become deformed, and in these deformities, you know, their eyes become, flat and whatnot, and kind of like a space alien. So that you see in these cartoons, right? These sort of anime drawings. So they're seeing all of these conditions change in the cosmonaut's body, and they're like, I don't know if it's a good idea to be sending people all the way out into space like that, even with
And
all the suits and technology that they have.
then it also the DNA also from what it was saying too, right?
Right.
that's deep. That's deep, man. That's freaking deep. So it's like now it makes you think about evolution, right? Again, like adapting to your surroundings. So it's like, damn, like this stuff is getting deep, man. It's getting deep.
Hmm.
So what do you think is gonna be the biggest? Damn, I'm trying to think. All right. So what do you think they're gonna have to do to work their way around it? Because we're going to have to eventually get to other planets. We're going to have to go to Mars. We're going to have to. They're going to push for this regardless, right? So what do you think is a way around that? Because it's going to happen regardless. Your body's going to change. Do you think they're going to have to create like a like what they say within space travel? They had to create conditions on the spacecraft that matches Earth's.
Have you ever
Uh,
seen Have you ever seen the movie Interstellar?
um, was that
Where
what Matthew McConaughey?
yes.
I've seen the trailer. I haven't watched the movie yet. What
Well,
did he do?
they they built a spaceship that resembled Earth's gravity. It grew grass, trees. It harnessed the sun's energy just like on Earth. So they mimic everything on Earth, put it into a spaceship in order for them to fly throughout the fly throughout space. So we're gonna have to mimic Earth to the finest minute detail, so space can't harm us in a way that it will alter us. For in order for us to go to another planet, just to alter that planet, a planet that we feel that meets the requirements for us to populate. In order for us to alter that planet, in order to sustain us, so everything is going to have to change. We're going to have to change everything for us. That Yeah, we're going to have to change everything to fit our needs, and
How far
hence,
is that? I think. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
no, I would say, and hence vice
No,
versa. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to read off freelance Ronan's comment and some of the other comments in the chat. It says, I'm also curious how the issue with Mars's weak magnetic field would be to overcome. Uh, Renault Cherry basically says there were ideas to block the solar wind and allow Mars shield to build again. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm reading that.
the solar wind is what's deteriorating Mars' magnetic field. Mars, after a certain point, Mars' magnetic field became weak, where the scales tipped in favor of the solar winds, and it just began knocking, weakening Mars' magnetic fields to what you see today. Which may, if there was water on Earth, due to the weakened magnetic fields, it allowed the atmosphere to be stripped by the solar winds into space. It allowed the water to evaporate into space. So what he's saying, the theory is if you block the solar winds, then that will allow Mars magnetic fields to become stronger. But that'll take time, like, not one life year, not one or two human life years. So you'll have to find a way to speed things up. Thus, come in terraforming. You would assist the process to make it faster.
Victor Dixon basically says cybernetics is going to revolutionize the body to space travel. I don't disagree with him. I think we talked about cybernetics maybe during the Boston Dynamics hangout we did with the robot jumping up the stairs.
So you're saying robotics will be the ones that will do the heavy work?
No, I think what he's saying is basically that they will alter humans' bodies with these robotic features,
Okay.
artificial intelligence, and things like that, in order to be applicable to space travel.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Like STEM.
Well, like the movie with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, Lucy.
Yeah.
What would be interesting would be like, okay, a great experiment, which is they're gonna have to do like maybe like doing like cloning in space,
Mhm.
right? And see how that turns out. See if the DNA change while it's in gestation to like to birth. So
I
I want
think
to see
they're
that.
already doing it with animals
Really already?
in very low Earth orbit. I think they're
Okay.
already doing it.
Yeah, I want to
Even
see that.
they're they're even growing fruits and vegetables in space.
Hmm. Yeah, because
Like
I think
potatoes. Yeah.
how far is Pat like how far is that the what was it called, the radiation barrier,
I,
like how far is that?
I think it's called the Coopers. Let me look it up. Kuiep. Coopers. Yeah, Coopers Belt. I think I'm pronouncing this right. A region of the solar system beyond the orbit of Neptune. I was wrong. Believed to contain many comets. Oh, that's what I was talking about. I got it mixed up. My bad. The Cooper, the Cooper, excuse me, Kuiper Belt is beyond Neptune, believed to contain many comets, asteroids, and other small bodies made of large. Um, there's a there's a radiation belt. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a radiation belt people that people reference as to why the moon landing was a hoax. Um, where it's saying if you go past this radiation belt, you just toast. You not gonna survive. Forgot the name of it. Uh,
Yeah. Damiete had he had talked about this last week. I was hoping he was going to get on the panel because he has some interesting information. Nagone says it's Van Allen.
yeah, the Van Allen space belt. Yeah. Man, I need to brush up on my astronomy, getting everything mixed up. Kuiper Belt.
Yeah, Nagone, if you
Oort,
want to get on a panel, we can send you the link.
the Oort cloud. Oh my God, I love this stuff. Oort cloud, named after Dutch. Okay, whatever. Sometimes called whatever. The theoretical cloud, predominantly icy planetesimal planetesimals proposed to surround the sun at distances ranging from 2,000 to 200,000 astronomical units. And the astronomical unit is the measurement from the center of the sun to the center of the earth. That measurement is as an astronomical unit. Oh man, I need to brush up on my astronomy there, man. I need that telescope to do it though.
Hey, Lionel, can you send Nagone the link?
Butterlade, yeah, I'll send Butterlade the link. No problem.
Yeah, Jedi Focus says I believe they will find a life support system that will be able to sustain life for deep space at some point. Too bad I won't be alive to see it.
I sent it. Yeah. Kuiper Belt. Oort cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Van Allen's radiation belt. That's the one. Yeah, but there's a lot of radiation out there, man. There's stars that just produce radiation. God, I can't remember the star. It's a it's not a dwarf. Why I keep wanting to say dwarf? It's a what is it? It goes round and round, and it just spews off radiation, and just one wave of this radiation, it goes round and round like 1,000 revolutions a second, something like that. But with just one revolution, half a revolution, you will cease to exist in the physical. It just burns you up. I forgot the name of this star, but it's a lot of radiation out there.
Mm-hmm.
God dang, what's the name of
Let
that
me
star?
get to this one last. Let
Okay.
me get to this one last article. This is from RT.com. NASA is hiding life on Mars. Here's what's really going on in red planet explosion images. Conspiracy theorists went into overdrive after spotting a mysterious plume of smoke near a dormant Martian volcano, with many claiming that this is as proof that alien life exists on the red planet and we're being lied to here on Earth. Um, I don't know how I feel about this.
So it's a volcano, right?
There's many volcanoes on Mars, yeah.
I mean, well, an active
But they're
volcano.
saying
Well, the thing about this volcano, they thought it was dormant. They thought there was no activity on it, and then they saw this bad boy fucking spitting hard, and then they were like, "What?" So they thought this was a dormant volcano.
And because, okay, a volcano. Wait, hey, Mike, did you want to say something?
no, go right ahead.
Well, a volcano says that the core is active.
Right.
If the core is active, that means the magnetic field is active. So when I forgot who said that, if you block some of the solar rays from bombarding Mars, that means Mars can be terraformed. Yeah.
Well, they're saying that Mars doesn't really have the magnetic field is really is pretty much gone or really screwed up on that planet.
It doesn't have a
Yeah.
moon, right?
It does have it has two moons.
Mars got 2 moons?
Yeah, Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and what's the other name? What's the name of the other one?
Yeah.
Titus.
No.
Pookie.
What's it? Pookie. No, they're two Pookie and Ray Ray.
No, you're right. You're right. Phobos is one of them. Phobos
Yeah,
is one of them. There's 2 moons.
yeah. And one of them has a monolith on it. Like it's got like a real strange looking shape on the thing that they don't. That looks like it's an unnatural thing. It looks like it was put there. So Buzz Aldrin, one of the former astronauts, who's looked at this, there is a monolith on that moon, and we don't know what it is. We haven't gone there to take a look at it. It's the moon that's like a potato shaped like a potato. Um, um, Phobos and Chiron, I think Chiron is the name of the other moon. But yeah, but Mars has moons, yes.
Oh yeah, Freelance Ronin
Demos.
said it's Demios.
And Demo.
What's Damios? Okay.
Yeah, I thought he
So
said Damiente, but it's not.
So I'm trying to figure out. So now they found an active volcano.
Yeah.
So what is really the meaning of it? Like, what does that mean for the planet?
That means a lot.
Geologic activity.
Yeah, geologic activity means the core is active. A core is made out of metal. Different types of not medical metals. When different type of metals interact and they spin, they create a magnetic field. A magnetic field which is what holds the atmosphere together. What is on Earth is what helps hold the atmosphere and keeps the sun rays in. What traps the red sun rays. Which means if Mars core was stronger, it could create an atmosphere.
Well, Mars does have an atmosphere. It does have an atmosphere. It's an exceedingly thin one.
Yeah, exceedingly thin one. Yeah.
It has a very thin atmosphere right now.
That's why I say if it was stronger. Yeah.
And it doesn't protect you from a lot of the radiation that comes down onto the planet, which also doesn't hold heat. So so it stays very cold.
Right.
Right now they say that Mars does not have a magnet. The poles are not magnetized. You don't have a magnetic field really going. Nothing like the Earth or nothing close to what Jupiter or anything else like that has. So that's why they thought it was a dead planet. But what's so strange about it, since they say that it doesn't really have a magnetic field, but now you're starting to see here this volcano is blowing up, and they're saying that there may be, how is this, which is basically showing you that you really don't, we really don't know about the Martian, geology. We don't know what might work here on our Earth might be a little different elsewhere, so we don't really know what's going on. If you do have volcanoes, that also might, yield the fact that there might still be some plate tectonics that might, because the big plates move over move over lava that's deep underground. So that's what keeps the plates flowing around a little bit. That could be the reason for why you have this big giant rift in the Marianas Gulf and all this kind of stuff. That's huge and super massive, but we just don't know a lot about the tectonics or any of real Mars geology at this stage of the game. So we are perplexed. This is not supposed to be happening right now. That volcano, they said, was dead for many millions of years, and now all of a sudden here it is. That's what they think they're seeing. So a lot's going on that's difficult to really speak to in any definitive way on that planet as of right now.
Well, that's what the article is basically saying. The article is basically saying that NASA is keeping a lot of information away from everybody else, including other agencies such as European space agencies, Russia, and, the South American, Latin America, and all those other ones. And they're speculating that maybe United States NASA is actually causing some problems up there by creating, earthquakes, tremors, and things like that to stir up this volcano.
And how and exactly how would we be stirring up any issues to create something like that? But what could we be doing to precipitate this?
Could be setting off, weapons. Could be using all types of sound devices up there. I mean, they're just speculating that there's activity going on up there that was not happening before NASA got up there.
Okay, and I would say that is entirely possible. Could they have set off a nuke or something like that up there to kind of get some shit? To set some shit off, to set it off. Who knows? Who knows? I would hope that we would not be doing that, but it's very possible. It's possible. We've had quite a few trips up there, so who knows, man? Who knows? But one thing we do see, it looks like there might be some geologic activity going on that planet. We suspect that there's water there, a bit more water than we would have thought, there might be a lot of strong evidence for that. So, the red planet, they may hold some deep mysteries that might need to be uncovered. Just going off the beaten track a little bit. They did talk about that face on Cydonia that was up there, and there are people who are still saying that that there is a structure that's a structure. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But there's speculation, and like I said, Buzz Aldrin knows on Phobos that there is some type of structure on that planet. I mean, excuse me, on that little moon, and they don't know what that is. So there's some things that are up there that that look to be mysterious, whether or not they're made by something or they're some very interesting type of natural formation. It needs to be examined as well, but they're keeping real hush hush on that as well, NASA as well. So yeah.
Wait, this caption right here says there was an explosion. I don't know whether it was a volcano or something detonated. Tyler Glockner of Secure Team 10 told his audience during the video, which has amassed almost 390,000 views since publication in October. So,
yeah, I subscribe to Secure Team 10, and I just look at it. I think some of those guys sometimes they might be they
conservative.
They focus some strong shit. I think these dudes be.
Hey, Nagone. Hey, Nagone.
Go ahead.
Do you believe in the Moon Woman?
The Moon Woman? Who the fuck is that?
Well, this gonna sound trippy. This gonna sound real trippy, but it said that they went to the moon because they found something up there, and it sounds like some Transformer stuff, but they found a wrecked spacecraft, but it was a woman that was basically a giant. She had dreads. She had like a darkish skin, and it's a video on YouTube where you can see they operating on her.
A woman?
Yeah, a woman. She got dreads, darkish skin. She's a giant, not like not an absorbent giant, but she's clearly bigger than them. And they're operating on her like she's dead, and they're operating on her.
I don't know. That sounds like Boom Quisha from around the block. I don't fucking know, man. I have like no.
I mean, Viola Davis. Maybe Viola Davis looking for Liam Neeson.
Put that bad hook on fucking Liam Neeson. I have like, I would like to see that. To be honest with you, this is the first I'm hearing about that, so I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of this.
It says right here it says right here in this caption, European Space Agency, clouds are known to form seasonally in this region and are associated with the volcanoes because there's topography influences atmospheric conditions. He continues. This is well documented phenomenon, and several scientific articles exist documenting and explaining the process and highlight the seasonal regularity of the occurrence in this region. So basically, they're saying that some stuff is going on. NASA's not sharing this information.
Okay. What else?
The Europeans want a piece of this. I don't know, man. It's not inconceivable that there's probably water buried under the surface. I think they discovered this already.
Yeah.
There's some frozen lakes under there.
You know, none of that would surprise me. I mean, you know, none of this would surprise me. And this is another question, you know, that we have to, you know, does all geologic activity, let's say, follow along the lines of Earth activity? You know,
Good question.
You know, things may work a little bit differently, on, you know, on a different planet, and different. What I would say, with respect to their system, you know, to their system of how things work, things may be different. You know, we don't know. That's, you know, we just don't know. So
Okay.
I
I found a video. I don't know if y'all want me to share it or not.
What's the video say?
Well, I'll show it to y'all. See if I can share the screen. I can. Okay. Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
All right. It's like it's this one right here. What he doing? Apollo 20 mission alien moon videos. That's like, I think it's just the one that, like, you can see they doing like surgery on her.
Is this from Secure Team 10 as well?
No, I don't think so.
What are we looking at?
This is from Black News 102, right?
Nah, this is from somebody. I actually, I don't know.
Is this her face?
Supposedly.
Bro, I'm highly suspect. That's all I gotta say.
I'm just saying, y'all brought up freaking other stuff, so I just brought this up too.
I mean, they're saying
You always gotta be the one to throw a monkey wrench in there, huh, Lionel?
I sure do, man.
Was this supposed to be a human woman? Is that what they're saying it was?
Well, she's humanoid, but I don't know if she's a human.
I don't know, man. Ever since that alien autopsy video, they put that sucker laid bullshit out.
Wait a minute, you talking about there's a freaking phallus on Mars moon, and I read this up, man.
What's that?
I said, you talk about there's a phallus on Mars moon, you know, and
Yeah, they're saying that there may be some kind of what do they call it? A monolith or something. Some kind of monolith.
Nah,
like
it makes you question now. Like, okay, just on
like
that topic, right?
Go ahead.
I'm saying just on that topic, that made you think about, I guess, human history. Well, only people that was putting up, only society that was putting up structures like this, right, were the Egyptians. So, do you think there's a connection between the Egyptians and, because obviously there's a pyramid on Mars, right? And there's the only thing he said, there's another Egyptian structure that's on the moon. So it was like of Mars. So do you think there's a connection there?
Well, I would say if there is indeed a pyramid of which we have no proof of, the only thing we can go on is some of those pictures that look like they have this face and it's called Cydonia, the face on Cydonia.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they have another pyramidal structure or a monolithic or large rectangular structure on that planet, I would have to say that they would have to be related. You know, if there's something like that going on, they would have to be related. That's what I would think. But we're getting no information on it. You know, and like Mike's saying, NASA's been like silent. You know, they haven't been saying anything, and we've been to Mars quite a bit. You know, we've hit it about 6 times already with these rovers and stuff. So we've been up in and out of there. Hey Lionel, show that video, man. Show that video. Some people want to see that video. Show the video, bro.
Okay, let me go back to it. All right. I just saw
Make
this a
sure
long time ago, so
make sure it's showing on the screen, man. On the
say what?
make sure it's showing on the full screen of the YouTube.
Let's see here. Supposedly they went to Mars. Either they went to Mars and found this, or the whole purpose of them going to Mars was to see this.
Hmm.
So
What is she like in a sarcophagus or something?
I don't know. I just saw the video like a while ago. I was looking at it for like a couple seconds, and
You know, I'm highly suspect on this kind of stuff.
well, yeah. This type of stuff you gotta be highly suspect in. But you know, I mean, you
I mean,
brought
I
up.
mean, I would like to see something like that. I would like to see something like this. I mean, if there was a being out there looking like this, that looks pretty human to me, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think we should take into consideration that anything that comes into our galaxy will be light years ahead of us, right?
I would have to figure that because just to travel interstellar, you would have to have some levels of technology that, from what my understanding, we don't have as of yet. But there's some people saying that we can't travel around the stars right now. There's some people saying that. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that looks pretty human to me. But that was found on Mars.
that was from
No,
what the video was saying. Man, I'm not an expert in it. I'm
found on Mars.
just
Was that found on Mars or found on the Moon?
not Mars, the moon. Why say
The
Mars?
Moon. Okay,
The
the Moon.
moon. The moon.
Hmm.
Now, why would that be on the moon?
I have
Yeah,
no idea, man.
there's some. And how long was it up there? Do they figure?
Just search moon woman and whatever other information to come up. I'm just sharing.
How did you find it?
I was on YouTube. You know the YouTube rabbit hole. They show you stuff that ain't got nothing to do with you
Yeah.
looking up. And I'm like, what's this? I must have been looking at like rap videos or something. This was like years ago, and yeah, I'm like, what's this? And I'm like, you know what? I took the wrong turn in Albuquerque, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Interesting to think about, but I would have to say highly suspect. Anyway, go ahead, Mike. Maybe you're gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna say because I know it was like, well, man, you just gotta look it up, man, because I don't know nothing else. And I'm like, what? Do you want me to, check with like a CFP, a certified financial planner as well?
Right.
Well, if we freestyling, man, I read an article, right? Saying AI and they're using AI for medical sessions, stations, right? So you go up to a computer, you explain, the AI is gonna ask you a series of questions, right? And then from that point on, it gives you a diagnostic of your illness, and then it writes your prescription, and then you move on with your life. So, um, have you guys heard of these type of machines already, or these type of stations like this, where AI is replacing doctors?
No,
Oh
no,
yeah, that's been long talked about for a while.
but I haven't seen where that has been the case.
So
I
at
was
my
real.
local hospital, go ahead.
No, I said I was really interested to watch that painting that was done by an AI robot or whatever. That was off the chain, but
Yeah, that was good too.
yeah. That was pretty cool. Anyway, hey Mike, you were saying your hospital?
At my local hospital, they're replacing all the receptionists with these automated terminals. So
Yeah,
they're moving in that direction.
Mm.
that's true. That's true.
What do you think the biggest problem can be with that? Because obviously, when you have a doctor, I don't know. I think it's different with a doctor. You're dealing with a machine, right? So, um, what do you think the biggest problem going to be with the AI? Because I'm hearing that the AI is very accurate, but it's still a machine. It's not a person. What's your thoughts
Well,
on
the
that?
AI is basically making human decisions. This is a machine making human decisions.
Mm.
So you give it enough feedback, it's going to give you some feedback as well. So it's not like it's I mean, we've seen artificial intelligence working on Tesla's electric vehicles.
Hmm.
We've seen artificial intelligence working for Google with what's the name of their duplex.
Hmm. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be hard for them to program um, their own artificial intelligence in the medical field, where they could just dump a whole lot of medical terms and previous results into artificial intelligence, and just say, hey, based on this point, based on that point, give me some feedback. I mean, we see Google works now just fine with artificial intelligence. 9 times out of 10, it's giving you a result that's satisfying to you. I don't see why it wouldn't work in the medical industry.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they say they're pushing it more for
Yeah.
like urgent cares. That's what they're trying to push it into. Urgent cares, and it was on I think it was a Business Insider article, but they're offering demonstrations not right now, and but it's more of a push in urgent cares. I don't see it really in hospitals. So I think that hey, so many people right now who don't have insurance, who can't afford healthcare. If that's a alternative to affordable healthcare, right? To go to a machine and help you figure out what's wrong with you, you know, it's fulfilling a demand.
Well,
Certainly
they need to
would.
figure out why healthcare is expensive in the first place,
Mm,
We know
besides
why it
replacing
is.
it with doctors.
We know why it is. Pharmaceutical companies,
mm,
the
Hmm.
medical device companies, all that are fucking marking their shit up 1,000-fold. You know, they're marking their shit up like crazy. They're trying to make as much profit as they can. See that was one of the things about in the healthcare bill they had tried to put in a certain types of restrictions on costs and so forth, and they didn't let that happen. That's what's keeping the cost so high. Are the healthcare are the the companies, pharmaceutical industry, and the medical device manufacturers and so forth. They're charging ridiculous amounts of money, for their shit. So that's what's causing the cost to go up so high, and the companies and so forth are charging high premiums to cover all this stuff. So it's all about profit. They don't care about people. So that's why they were trying to do price regulations on things, and they didn't want that to happen. They got that out of it, out of the whole Obamacare bill. That's what it's about. That's what's keeping healthcare are the ridiculous costs of their shit. The ridiculous cost of drugs and all that. So they're charging huge dollars.
Yeah, I was discussing with my brother, and he was explaining to me that as far as health insurance, he's paying like $1,200 a month just for him, his wife, and his child, and he's like, he thinks I'm paying. He's like, I'm paying too much, and I think it's more of a policy issue. What do you think is a way to repair this, to fix this? Because healthcare is getting ridiculous, man. Some people.
Who's he working for?
He works for Ford. He's an engineer, but he was I don't know. I think he's under he works on under a contract, or he's more of an independent contractor before, so he has to pay out of pocket for his insurance. He says he's paying too much.
Yeah, he's getting killed. What he needs to do is he needs to go to a professional employer organization.
Okay.
So he needs to go to a PEO or something where he can get in with a group and see if he can get a lower rate that way.
People can't even afford to retire nowadays because they're paying so much in insurance.
Yeah. To help, and see, to me, the insurance scheme is whack because they're bringing in the least amount of value. We really don't need them. That's why a single payer would have been a much better deal. We don't really need these insurance companies. We don't need them. We don't need them for shit. But
what about all?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what about all the the high performing capitalists who prefer who prefer to to keep their things the way that they are.
That's messed up, man.
Shot across the bow.
Like the.
No, that I'm just making a statement. It's just like. No, that's our boy. We love him, man. We love him too much to. With this Jones on.
Oh, Mike, you too funny. Anyway.
No, I think a lot of artificial intelligence is going to take over. I know Philips, GE Health, all working on IoT products with artificial intelligence built into it. I know what do you call that? What's the other organization? There's a lot of healthcare startups that's emerged in the last year and a half. So they're coming up with different solutions. Teladoc is one. I know they merged with they did an M&A with Best Doctors. So I think that was a couple $1 million merger. They seem to be solving a lot of issues. Basically using your smartphone to communicate with you over FaceTime and basically diagnose you over the phone with artificial intelligence. So
wow.
I mean that's still pretty cool. I mean I think that's pretty cool, but I don't know if that's going to be able to fully replace all kind of doctors.
No, I don't think it will be either. But I do think that it makes it easier to do like basic assessment. You don't have to walk into an emergency room, and I think that's one of the biggest problems that this country has had. People using emergency rooms as treatment for or getting access to doctors, immediate attention for doctors. So.
What are the choice you have if you have these ridiculous healthcare costs? You got to go in. You got to come in on an ER basis.
What,
I don't know.
What they did in Boston. What they did in Boston is they put a healthcare clinic on every corner. So similar to how there's a liquor store on every corner, there's a healthcare clinic on every corner now.
Well, one thing on Massachusetts, you guys kind of have almost like a single payer option there in your state, which is one of the more progressive ones that Kennedy wanted to push, and then your man
Romney.
The Mormon dude.
Romney.
Yeah, Romney. Yeah, exactly. Romney adopted. Even as Republican, but yeah, he adopted that, and that worked very well. And then your man Deval Patrick, he came in there and shored it up. You guys have one of the best healthcare systems going right now in the country. And
97% efficiency rates.
Say that again.
Yes.
97% efficiency rate.
It's one of the best, and that basically Obama took that, because that was one of the conditions from Kennedy to say, well, listen, I'm going to support you, man, over these fucking Clintons, but if I support you, you got to push through, my healthcare plan, and Obama was like, all right, bet, let's do this, and that's what they did, and essentially, this Affordable Care Act, it was essentially the same plan that's very similar to the plan that was being used in Massachusetts. That's essentially what that was. Go ahead.
Well, then you had these naysayers who like to come in here and say, "Oh, well, that's just socialism, and we don't need that. We don't want to be like Venezuela."
Those some dumb motherfuckers, and unfortunately, that's just how that is. They're not thinking. How else are you going to underwrite all these immense healthcare costs? I mean, if we don't get a handle on healthcare and let these costs continue to rise, by 2030, that's just going to outstrip GDP. Fucking GDP. The Congressional Budget Office said this themselves. So this is like, wow, healthcare costs alone outstripping GDP. That's crazy. But that's where we're at.
It's $4 trillion. It's a $4 trillion market.
Yeah, that's where we're at in this. So it's pretty scary. Pretty scary. So we really have to get our arms around it and in a very real way. As of currently, we're not dealing with. Obama and them tried to deal with it, realistically, but these guys want to cut it back and do all kind of bullshit, and and basically take care of the big manufacturers, keep them paid in the shade, but it's going to cost us an arm and a leg at the end of the day, and it's going to bring us to ruination. So I don't know what we're going to do on that, but we're going to have to. But sooner or later, we're going to have to deal with this thing head on.
Let me read the chat. C Boogie Productions. Y'all love them white folk.
Yo, man, send C Boogie the link, man. Get him on here, man. C Boogie, get on the panel, dog.
Let me see. Keep it techie. That's why I say the military TRICARE is a lifesaver. I don't know what TRICARE is.
Yeah, TRICARE. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Who said that?
Keep it techie.
Yeah, TRICARE. He probably got Medicare Part D too. Yeah. TRICARE works closely with the military and the family of the military. You don't have to pay you have to pay a copay for your medicine is very minimal. Couple dollars. Yeah. TRICARE is that shit. Say like you go to go ahead.
How's the healthcare service in the military? Is it up to par, do you think? You think it's good?
Well, you have the option to go to the VA or if you go to a non-VA clinic, You got the TRICARE and Medicare Part D. I think it's Medicare Part D that you can use to help pay for it.
Hey, Christian, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. You guys doing all
What's
right?
going on, Christian?
What's up,
What's going on?
Good yourself. How you doing?
Doing all right. Looking up this Moon Woman. Never heard of it before now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trippy, ain't it?
I never heard of that. Never did. Never heard of it.
Trippy, ain't it?
Very.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. I never heard of it before. Moon Woman. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, you really think about the size as Lionel's describing her, right? So it sounds like somebody who's 7 like that, right? I mean, Shaquille O'Neal, most NBA players that are black are very tall. It's not uncommon that can be the case, right?
A 7-foot woman. I know we've seen it in the Guinness World Book of Records. There's some woman who was that tall, but that is some unusual. For a human, for the average human being, that's very unusual. It's a very unusual.
That's like a transdagle or something.
That's Daggle Prime. That's Daggle Prime, man. That's a prime Daggle right there.
What's a transdagle? What? I'm lost on this. I'm not with a crowd on this one. What's that?
Go ahead, Mike. Explain to what the Daggle is, brother.
Oh, the daggles are a little bit out of my pay range, but
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, Lionel, the Daggle, the Scraggle Daggle, that they talk about is. You've heard of Scraggle Daggle, right? You've heard the term.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. That's
okay. I see what you're saying.
That's in essence, they cut it down to just to the Daggle, for short. I wonder if this Moon Woman had big crusty. Were her feet crusty? Did she have big crusty feet?
Oh boy.
So
it'll be interesting to see what comes out of all this, this little article, because if NASA is hiding something, they have to respond to it. So,
well, NASA seems to be sitting on a lot of stuff, and they seem to hold a lot of stuff back. So, it'd be interesting to see if we can get any other information out on that now, but I don't know. If this was a real volcano, you got to think about it. If that's a real volcano going off, that's very significant. That is a significant move. That's significant geology right there.
So you're saying pretty much Mars was considered like a dead planet?
Yeah, it was pretty much considered dead. Nothing happened.
Now, here's another one from space.com. Number of habitable exoplanets found by NASA's Kepler may not be so high after all.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Any other articles?
That was the last one. We went over all the articles already.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, just want to mention, this might be a little off the beaten track. What about that extraordinary terrorist act in that synagogue?
Yeah, it's a little bit off the track, but that's something they knew that was going to happen. It's not like it was just out of the blue. So.
What's that?
What are you saying, Lionel?
Mike? No, I was asking. Mike, you said they knew it was going to happen. What do you mean they knew it was going to happen?
Yeah, that's my question too.
Well, they know by your web traffic. They know what sites you're hitting. I'm in cybersecurity, so I can see ahead of time what you're doing, right? So they can predict that if you keep going to certain websites that you're up to something. And the fact that he was frequenting all these websites, all this hate speech and stuff like that, and they did nothing about it, Man, I question things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about the shooter?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. 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 Pretty nasty situation. I think he got 20 people or something. I mean, he shot 20 people, right?
Yeah, 11 dead.
11 dead. Yeah.
See, most of them were senior citizens too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
97
this
years
guy,
old.
this guy was like a Dylan Roof. He was like a Dylan Roof type dude, man. You know.
Same thing with Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof was on what's that website? Stormfront.
Yeah. And he was
Same
also
thing
on
with
the
the with
same.
the.
He was also on the same site that Renaissance site as well. That Jared Taylor was on. The Jared Taylor runs.
Yeah, same thing with the kid in Florida. Same thing with the kid in Florida. His last name was Cruz. They knew what websites he was going on. Even Stormfront. I think Stormfront or 4chan. I think they had banned him.
Yeah.
Because he was a little bit out of the ordinary. So they know what which guys are going to which website and all this other stuff, and supposedly they're listening to all your phone calls and all that, but yet these guys keep slipping through the cracks every single time.
Now, do you think there gonna be ramifications and blowback on these white nationalists and all right groups?
No. It's only gonna embolden them to. If you start going after them, it's only gonna embolden them to come out more. I mean, we saw what happened in Charlottesville, and they did nothing about those guys. So
yeah,
sure didn't. They sure as fuck didn't. Screwed up, man.
That's about it.
All right.
Anything else?
Pretty much done on that.
thank you all for joining us. We have another hangout on Wednesday, which would be geopolitics. Should be episode 84. Be sure to drop by, hit the like button, and we also have the IT summit coming this week. We will post up a date for that, date and time for that. As for right now, we are out.
We are out.
Thank you.